Welcome back, Superboy Beyond fans. It's Chris and Tom here with another one of our patented, quote unquote, Beyond commentaries. We're going back to the 1940s today. We are doing the next episode of the Kirk Alyn Superman serial. And this one is Superman to the Rescue. That's episode 8, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Episode 8. So you guys who've been watching know the drill, but for those who are just joining us for the first time, we're not going to have any clips of the episode in our video. There's going to be no audio. There's going to be a heavily filtered version right up there. Okay, just to keep in time, get yourselves ready. We're going to count you in with a 3, 2, 1. Look up in the sky. So get your DVD, or if you're in the U.S. and you have the Blu-ray version, get your Blu-ray version ready. It is, I believe, disc 1 on both. So disc 1, episode 8, Superman to the Rescue. In 3, 2, 1. Look up in the sky.
And here we go. Superman. I still think Spider Lady is a bloody stupid name for a villain.
Yeah.
Spider Lady, you know. Well, I guess it was the 1940s.
Yeah.
You don't really hear of women being called ladies very often anymore. It's usually very specific scenarios when that happens nowadays.
Yeah.
I think we're just a lot less formal these days.
Directed by Spencer Bennett and Thomas Carr. I actually think that this probably is the same Tommy Carr that went on to do Superman in the 50s with George Reeves.
We had a comment on one of the YouTube videos where he mentioned, are they the same person? And someone said, yeah, they changed their name from Thomas to Tommy Carr around that time. So yeah, it is the same person, because I know we'd questioned in previous episodes whether it was just a coincidence or something, but no, it was the same guy.
Well, whoever put that comment up on one of our previous videos, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a huge help for us. I'm sure I would have Googled it at some point, but I appreciated not having to, you know.
So we're picking up where we last left off, which is Jimmy is being thrown into the electric furnace.
It's always a good cliffhanger when someone's on a conveyor belt going towards a flame. I'm sure that the 60s Batman did it a few times even.
Well, we know they did it in the second two-parter, which was the Penguin two-parter.
But I'm sure they did it a bunch more after that.
Yeah. I think though that they're doing it better here than in that episode of Batman.
I don't know. I think the humor helps a lot with Batman.
Yeah.
And watching it here, I was just noticing that Jimmy wasn't getting any closer to the flames, you know. He was just laying there. And it is funny, the more episodes of this I watch, the more I think, man, those briefs are way too big.
Yeah.
Not that they're that important with the size of the briefs, I guess, but like I'm glad that, or at least that they're there. You know, I always prefer that they're there than not. But I don't know. I think the perfect sort of size for the briefs is probably Christopher Reeve or, you know, the recent David Corenswet version, I thought.
Yeah.
I don't think the Corenswet suit is perfect. There's things I definitely would change if I was in charge, but that suit is probably the best modern Superman suit, in my opinion. Even just for the colors, like the colors are perfect. Like
Yeah.
you get the colors right on a Superman suit, and like most of the heavy lifting is basically done for you.
Yep. And honestly, I gotta point this out. Since we brought up Corin Sweat, and I know that this was done by Mr. Snyder just because of how well Corin Sweat has been received.
Mm.
F you, Mr. Snyder.
What has he done?
He put up a picture of Henry Cavill in the suit, and he says Henry Cavill is Superman.
So he's no longer even pretending that he's not trying to restore the Snyderverse now, because
Yeah,
for a while he was pretending, oh no, it's just my fans going too far. But
yeah.
no,
He's
he was always encouraging it. Like people were calling him out on it for years. But I don't know. If you're a fan of Snyder's work, like that's absolutely fine. Not going to take anything away from you with that. Like I wanted to love those movies and just didn't. But I don't know. I don't like Zack Snyder particularly. I think he's very manipulative with the way
he's pretentious too.
he's pretentious. He's manipulative with his fan base because let's face it, it's basically turning into a cult at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not with I think the majority of them are just fans, but like we all know there's that small section of his fan base that are just absolutely rabid and will not accept any form of criticism of him.
Yeah. Well, that's something you don't see anymore in movies.
It's just smoking, yeah.
Yeah. But
Only
as
time
the
it happens now is with very specific purpose.
yeah.
I'm trying to think what the last movie I even saw someone smoking was. Maybe it was the movie Nobody. That was a good action movie. I'm fairly sure he was smoking a cigarette in the opening scene. But I don't remember him smoking at any other point in the movie. So maybe that was just the only time they could get away with it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't seen Nobody, Bob Odenkirk's action movie, like it's great. Christopher Lloyd is in it. He plays his dad. Absolutely
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. It's like if John Wick was Kevin McAllister from Home Alone, like building traps and stuff for the bad guys. Like it's really really cool.
Mm.
I haven't seen the sequel yet, but I intend to.
Yeah, those trunks are way too high.
Yeah.
Maybe half an inch lower or three-quarters of an inch lower, and they'd be fine.
Hmm. But I mean, people did genuinely used to pull their pants up to like around their navel. Like you used to see that all the time where pants would be pulled up that far. Now it's just around the waist usually.
Yeah. Now the only time you see that is Steve Urkel.
Yeah. It was funny. I remember when I was a kid, like my mum often would tell me, like, pull your trousers up and stuff. Like it's supposed to be around your belly button, and it's just like I don't think they are because every time I do that, it's squashing my balls. I think it was just the fashion had changed by that point, but I guess you didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
Although, let's face it, it did go a bit too far in the other direction. For a while, the kids were running around with practically their asses hanging out, which I
Yeah.
never quite got. I always thought, even that's just dangerous as well. I mean, it seemed to often it would be people that it'd be like the wannabe gangsters and stuff that probably thought they were a little bit harder than they actually were.
Yeah.
Because it was mostly teenagers doing it who probably had never even met a gang member up to that point.
Mm.
But I don't know, it always seemed dangerous to me. Like, imagine you had to suddenly run from something. You had to turn and just run down the street. How far are you going to get with your trousers falling down?
That guy in a zombie apocalypse is the first one that gets eaten.
Yeah. I don't know.
So they're planning on stealing the quote unquote reducer ray. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah. Didn't the reducer ray appear in a previous episode?
I think it did, but I don't really think they said what it was. We know it doesn't reduce things in size.
Yeah, he just like reduces them to rubble or something. He just destroys things.
Mm.
But yeah, this is only a 20-minute episode, and actually 15-minute episode, and already we've had 2 scenes of people smoking. You just wouldn't get that now, because
Yeah.
the smoking has nothing to do with the rest of the episode. It's just what they're doing.
And well, remember this was 1949, so
Yeah.
they didn't know the dangers of smoking at that point.
Or the people that did weren't really listened to at that point, at least.
Mm.
Because I'm sure that there were people working on it by then.
I'm sure the first few cases of lung cancer kept coming in, and like, why is everybody getting lung cancer?
Why are all the corpses that we're doing autopsies on? Why are their lungs black and full of tar? What's the connection here? I'm sure there were clues. It's just nobody was really listening for a while because
Mm.
unfortunately human beings are very stubborn. You pretty much have to just hammer something in, like hammer it into hammer it into them
Yeah.
for a long time before people will admit shit like that.
It's like what Tommy Lee Jones said in Men in Black. A person is intelligent. A person is smart. People are stupid.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Clark is sitting in there.
I always enjoy when Clark has to pretend to be beaten up by a regular human. And yeah, he just wanted a chance to slip away, clearly.
Yeah, it's just like that scene in Superboy with the standoff when the two thugs when the one thug is beating him up on the ground and he's like,
Yeah,
ah.
rolls his eyes. Yeah, just sighs. It's a cool looking prop for the gun. I'll give it that. And the cool thing about that gun prop, it doesn't look that complicated.
Yeah.
You know that there are probably fans out there that have made reproductions of props like this. That would be one that if somebody was to make like a replica, I don't know, I'd at least give it a like on Instagram or whatever. I'd be very surprised if nobody's attempted it.
Mhm. I will say, the moment when the missile flew up and then he threw it back,
Mm,
that's one of those moments where the animation worked.
yeah, I'll be honest. I think the animation works 9 times out of 10 in this show. I think it's very rarely that I see one of the animated shots and it completely takes me out of it. Like the vast majority of them look very, very cool because they edit it in with the live action footage just perfectly. Now, I almost wish there were more animated shots, to be honest.
Mm.
Well, I do remember in the last episode when Superman was flying, I think with Lois, when Lois took off, the shading on her outfit was slightly different to the live action footage. So it didn't quite work, whereas Superman's was basically matched.
Yeah.
But it's fair enough, I guess, because let's face it, how often do they need Lois to fly in this show?
Very rarely.
Yeah. So it makes sense they wouldn't put quite as much work into that side of it. But let's face it, this is basically what you get with TV nowadays, except instead of 2D animation, it's 3D instead. It's all just special effects. That shot was a little bit weird. I don't know why he was kicking his legs like he was swimming.
I don't know. That's the 10th out of 10 where it doesn't work.
Yeah. It worked for the first half of the shot and the last sort of quarter, maybe. But there was just that little bit in the middle when he just started kicking his legs like he was swimming. Didn't quite work for me, but whatever. You know, I'm sure this show didn't have the budget that perhaps they would have liked. Because, let's face it, none of these serials had quite enough money, did they?
No.
But anyway, that was Kirk Alyn Superman. Superman to the Rescue, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, Superman to the Rescue. Some really fun little action moments in this. Yeah, like you said, the animation worked really well. The shot when he caught the missile was really cool, and he threw it back to them and stuff. Like, yeah, that was a cool moment. And
I think the reason why the shot of the missile flying towards him and then him throwing it back worked is because as you said, it was intercut with the live action stuff properly, and because the missile wasn't really seen.
Yeah,
it was very tiny, and it could pass for a real live missile.
Yeah, if they were to remake that shot now, they probably wouldn't even have to do very much different. Literally all they would probably change is they would add a little bit of motion blur to the missile.
Yeah.
And that would, that would probably just make it look that little bit more realistic. But as you said, it wasn't really needed. It worked. Yeah, the way that they intercut with the live action footage is always the thing that I think makes the animation in this show work and work well. It's just like you would have Superman like flying across the sky in one shot through a window, and then the next shot you would see like Kirk Alyn sort of land inside the set. But the timing of it was cut so perfectly, it really did feel seamless.
Yep.
And that is really tricky to get right. Like, you have to applaud this show for that.
Yeah, and one thing I have to say, that scene when the two thugs with the rocket launcher saw him standing up on the rock.
That was a cool shot.
That was a very cool shot of Kirk Alyn up on the rock.
Yeah.
So
you had the cape sort of flapping behind in the wind. Like, yeah, that was a cool shot.
You can tell that Tommy Carr did a great job directing this.
You can see why he was one of the few directors that were brought back for the George Reeves show. Like, it's basically like they brought back directors, let's face it, from Superboy for Lois and Clark. And I mean, it was only a couple of them, I think, but was it just Lois and Clark? I think even Smallville had a couple of Superboy directors.
Yeah, probably the only one.
I think David Nutter did a Smallville at some point.
Yeah, but he's a prolific director, so
yeah,
they're going to go.
Did David Nutter do the pilot for Gotham as well? I think he might have done. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, very prolific director. Yeah, fantastic episode. The action worked well. Again, I really liked the prop for the reducer ray. I thought that was a really cool prop. And very basic as well. I always feel like I could make that.
That wasn't the reducer ray. That was just their
that
rocket
was just
launcher.
Oh, that was just that. Okay, I figured it was just the same prop, but had multiple functions or something. I didn't realize it was a different thing. But yeah, either way, it was a cool looking sort of rocket launcher prop. The tripod it was on was probably just a camera tripod, because they would have had plenty of those. Let's face it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a cool looking prop, but it was it was basic, but it had just enough detail to work. And I don't know, part of me feels like if I had the tools, I could probably put an approximation of that together myself. It wouldn't be quite as good, but I love when you can see a prop and you can kind of work out how it was made just by looking at it. Like that doesn't happen to me very often, but yeah, you can kind of see with this one. It's just some pipes and stuff like that, you know, circular shapes cut out that are slotted over the pipe to give it dimension and that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of me wishes I did have a saw and all of that stuff and, you know, go and start work on it, but where would I even keep it?
Probably on the wall next to your sovereign symbol.
There's nowhere on the wall there to put it though. I'd have to put up a shelf, and it'd be right above where I sleep. So you know, I'd wake up at least one morning and bang my head. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Should we give this a score out of 10?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We didn't give it a score.
Yeah, I would give this an 8.5 personally. The action scenes alone sold this one for me, to be honest. Plus that comedic moment with Clark Kent getting beaten up so he could slip away and turn into Superman. Like anytime an episode of anything Superman does a scene like that, I always love it because it's just, I don't know, there's something that's very funny about that to me. Yeah, 8.5. What do you think?
Yeah, 8.5.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Viacom.